Welcome to PokeClass episode 20. The past 2 weeks have been packed full of Pokemon TCG news, including the announcement of state dates, official online Pokemon, and a brand new set. In this episode, I'm going to go over as much as I can, with the main focus on our new set. Let's have a look. Quite a few stories have hit the Pokemon community this week, including one about the official Pokemon trading card game online. This has sparked a ton of discussion on almost every single Pokemon website and has caught the interest of many competitive players. The Pokemon TCG online game will only be in the beta stage when it's released, but it's showing a lot of potential insight into the world of online play. Most of us use RedShark, Apprentice, or my favourite way to play online, Skype. The problem most of us find with programs like RedShark and Apprentice is that not seeing the actual images of cards is sometimes off-putting, which is why this new program is showing promise. However, this game is currently only going to feature 3 pre-constructed decks upon release, along with the ability to play against 12 AI opponents with these decks. When the new set's theme decks are released, they will contain codes which can be entered into the new program to obtain these decks in the game. This will give you 6 different decks to play with if you purchase all 3 of the new ones. The downside to this news is that the initial release of the game doesn't shed any light on whether an entire modified card pool will be available, or whether we'll be able to play against real-life opponents rather than AI. The only way we're going to find out is with the release of the official program in April. These images look great so far, and many of us are hoping that Pokemon will decide to take this concept further after the initial release, and maybe it will turn out to be the official way of playing the game online in the future. News for the UK surfaced recently about our state's dates. Currently, 3 dates have been officially sanctioned, along with another date yet to be officially set. These places so far are Nottingham on the 19th of March, London on the 26th, and Bournemouth the day after on the 27th. The yet to be confirmed one will be in Manchester on the 12th of March. States will be the first of the tournaments which will carry a 32k value rating, so there are big rating points on the line. So far, we're definitely going to be going to Nottingham and probably London too. Make sure you get prepared as some are less than a month away. Announced just a few days ago was another change in the official rulings on time, but this time they've been changed back to what they previously were. The ruling for cities was if time was called when a player has taken a single prize, they would win the game and they would move on to sudden death. However, this has been changed back to the old ruling before Battle Roads. The ruling that stands now is that a player must have taken at least 4 prizes before time is called to be declared the winner of the Game 2 of Best of 3. This changes the way people play, with time being a key concept to play in the game. Everyone should be aware that these new changes are in effect as of now, so make sure you adapt and practice to the newer ruling and enforce it when states come around. The final piece of important news is about our new set. It's finally here, Pokemon Black and White. These press releases show all of the details about the new set. It will feature over 110 brand new cards, with over 70 new Pokemon from the Unova region featured. The release of the new set is what today's main part of the episode will be about, so let's get to it. The new set, Black and White, will be released on the 25th of April, not too far away, just in time for Nationals and Worlds. The date for UK Nationals is the 29th of May, so we'll only have this set for a few days longer than a month to get used to the new cards, which will definitely have an impact on the format. Japan have already had this set for a while, as usual, but it's finally come to use with a great selection of cards which will change the way we play the game quite a bit. The first change the set will bring is the merging of Pokebodies and Pokepowers into abilities. From this set onwards, Pokemon will no longer have bodies or powers and instead have Pokemon abilities. I'm not sure whether this is a good move or a bad one for the game, but with Power Spray and Mesprit leaving the format shortly, I guess it won't make a massive difference. Aside from that, there's a potential rule change which comes with the future set, which we haven't seen yet. Japan have had these rules already, but considering they're a whole format ahead of us, we may not see the rules just yet. Some people are guessing that we may get the rule change when Black and White comes out, but personally, I don't think it would work if they did it that way. When Nationals and Worlds are both out the way, I would guess that the change will occur just before the new season. These changes include being able to use trainers on the first turn and changes to the ruling of rare candy, but I don't think we need to worry about those just yet. We'll just have to wait and see. Before the official release of the set on the 25th, the theme decks will be hitting the shelves on the 6th instead. This will give us a small insight into the cards we'll be given, and rather than the traditional 2, there will be 3 decks to choose from this time. Green Tornado, Red Frenzy, and Blue Assault will feature the 3 starters and their evolutions, including Emboar, Serperior, and Galvantula. This is really good news, especially the red deck, considering it will contain one of the more popular cards from the new set, so it will be relatively easy to obtain. Finally, there will be 3 different promotional packs to obtain, which actually look pretty good. The first one is the Black and White Collector's Album box. This box features 2 booster packs, special promo card, and a 60 card binder, perfect for putting your trades in to take to events. These will retail around $10, which I think is a really good price considering what you get, as the albums are generally around that much by themselves. The second is the Victini box. This will feature 5 black and white boosters, a promo card, and a small Victini figure, which will retail for around $20. This sounds okay, and 5 packs is great, with the promo and figure good for collectors. The final promo pack is more traditional, in the form of a tin. As well as the black and white starter tins we'll be getting in early April, we're also getting 2 more tins featuring Zekrom and Reshiram. These will feature the usual promo card and 4 black and white booster packs. This to me seems a better idea, as you get 4 packs from the black and white sets rather than a random 4 from random sets like we do now. This will retail for around $16, so make sure you look out for all of these packs when the new set finally hits our shelves. If that isn't enough to get you looking forward to the new set, then let's have a look at some of the new cards which will arrive in late April. There are many interesting cards that will be featured in the newest set, so I'm going to go through a few of the most interesting so far. First up is Emboar. This card is a stage 2 fire Pokemon with 4 retreat cost and a ×2 weakness to water. The 4 retreat cost is going to hurt, possibly if Luxray GL level X stays in rotation, but there's another reason which I'll discuss later. The reason I'm mentioning Emboar is because of its ability, Fervid Dance. When Emboar is in play, Fervid Dance allows you to choose 1 fire energy in your hand and attach it to any of your Pokemon in play. The best part about it is that you can use it any number of times per turn. This is very similar to Feraligatr Prime, with the ability to attach energy to your Pokemon any number of times per turn, but Emboar allows you to attach fire energy to any of your Pokemon, not just fire types. During next rotation, a deck that still works now, Charizard, is what people think will take off, with its high damage output and draw support from Ninetales. Emboar could be a nice addition to the deck, as well as any colourless deck that needs energy acceleration. Even better is that this card will be included in one of the theme decks available earlier than the set. This is certainly a card that will see some play. Another starter is also an interesting card, Serperior. This card will be rival to Nidoqueen from Rising Rivals, whether or not it will be in the future format. Serperior has an ability called Royal Heal, which heals your own Pokemon by 10 between turns when Serperior is in play. While Dialga G level X is around before rotation, people may want to switch Nidoqueen with Serperior before Nationals, as Dialga won't be able to shut off abilities, but it will be able to shut off Nidoqueens. It will be up to players' choice, but could be something to consider while Dialga's Time Crystal is still out there. Third, we have the possible future of Trainer Lock. At the moment, and in the future, we'll still have Vileplume to shut down trainers from both players, but this new card will only be a problem for your opponent. Gothitelle is a stage 2 psychic Pokemon with an ability and 1 attack. Gothitelle's ability Magic Room disables your opponent from playing trainer cards as long as Gothitelle is active. This sounds great, but it must have a good attack to be active all the time. Gothitelle has an attack called Mad Kinesis that does 30 base damage for 3 colourless energy. This sounds awful, but the effect of the attack means that for each psychic energy attached to Gothitelle, increases the damage output by 20. This means that if you have 3 psychic energy attached to power up the attack, you'll be doing a base damage of 90, which isn't too bad, and possibly 110 with Expert Belt. This may take a while to set up, but with your opponent being under trainer lock, they'll be slowed down as well, not being able to use future usable trainers such as Rare Candy, Warp Point, and many more. This is a very interesting card that with the perfect partner could be a good deck next season. The final Pokemon I'm going to mention is Mandibuzz. This card has an attack that struck me as a very interesting way to do pretty decent damage for a low cost. Mandibuzz is a stage 1 Pokemon with ×2 weakness to lightning and a very useful resistance to fighting. Its dark typing is also great for hitting Gengar Prime for weakness, a card which will increase even further in popularity when rotation is announced. Mandibuzz has 2 attacks, which are both pretty good. The first, Sneak Attack, costs just a single dark energy and allows you to choose one of your opponent's Pokemon and do 50 to it, if it has damage counters on it already. This could be used well in conjunction with Crobat G before rotation, and Gallade 4 Level X and Fortress G if we see Rising Rivals next year. Even Absol Prime, Gengar Prime, or any other card that adds 10 damage to bench Pokemon post-rotation will be a great partner. You could even add Special Dark to do more damage to an active Pokemon, coming very close to one-hit KOing a Gengar Prime. Its second attack is also interesting, considering it can utilise double colourless energy as well. Punishment does 40 base damage, but if you're attacking a stage 2 Pokemon, this will do an extra 60 damage, bringing the total to 100. This will easily take down Gengar Prime, and with an Expert Belt, you could one-hit KO a lot of stage 2s. This is a very interesting card, which can make an interesting deck in the future. Now I'm going to talk about a card that has received the most hype after the set was released in Japan. It's a trainer card version of one of the most powerful cards in the current format at the moment, Luxray GL Level X, and it's called Pokemon Catcher. This card will change the way everyone will play, as it means that no Pokemon is safe on the bench. So what does it do? Pokemon Catcher simply allows you to choose one of your opponent's benched Pokemon and switch it with their active. This immediately brings us back to the base set days of Pokemon, where Gust of Wind was one of the most popular cards played at the time. Unfortunately, it isn't a direct reprint, so no using your retro cards. This card provides a bright look in a trainer card, which means that benched Pokemon will always need a way to get out of the active spot, as this card will be very popular. This card may shake up the format just before Nationals and Worlds, with Trainer Lock possibly becoming more popular if this card does as well as predicted. These are just some of the cards that I have time to talk about today, but there are so many more I could mention, such as Revive, Professor Aragi, Recycle, Energy Retriever, and Crush Hammer. All of these cards are going to affect the way we play competitively in the future, and we will see how these will fare when we get to Battle Roads between states and nationals. So that's it for this week. A brand new set that seems to shed a lot of light on the game as we know it, and it seems to be reverting slowly back to the base set days, with decks becoming slower and trainers like Gust of Wind and Professor Oak being revived as new versions. This is very exciting news for the game, and only time will tell what will change when the set finally comes in April. Thanks for watching this episode of PokeClass, and make sure you check back next week for the start of the States build-up. Make sure you subscribe, and see you next week for the next episode.